Hello, my name is Abu-Rumman. I am a Largo High School IB student going into my senior year, and this is a little project I've been working on. It's about the struggle of affordable housing within our community in Pinellas County, and this video is going to be dedicated to talking about the affordable housing struggle and specifically for veterans, and it's going to be in partnership with the Veterans Youth Alliance Corporation. So, what is the Veterans Youth Alliance Corporation? Veterans Youth Alliance Corporation was founded by two local high school leaders from Seminole, Florida, and the corporation is also based from Seminole, Florida. And this nonprofit was created with the primary aim of giving back to our nation's heroes. And one of the things that they really struggle with around the country is homelessness and access to housing. So that's what this video is going to be dedicated about. But the Youth Alliance Corporation also support veterans by sharing their stories, providing information, and other services to them. So, what is the local affordable housing crisis? So, for a little bit of context, over the past decade, the housing prices have been steadily increasing and on total over 225% in Pinellas County. And these were taken from July of 2012 to July of 2022, where it was found that it increased from 120,000 to roughly 390,000, the 225% increase. In addition to this, the rental rates have also climbed to a now average of more than $2,137 per month, and this has gone up in the last year from $2,069 per month. And finally, also, the affordable rental inventory is extremely scarce right now, and the ones available are often very poor quality and lead to many issues arising with tenants and people living there, and also leave them not happy with their living situations. So, what is the veterans housing crisis here in Pinellas County? So, veterans here face higher risks of homelessness due to service related issues such as PTSD that evokes from their campaigns across the world. And Florida is also a top destination for veterans, surprisingly, but also one of the most expensive places to live for like the average person. And it's even harder on veterans because they are unable to find employment due to the military situation that they are in, not really preparing them for life after deployment. And additionally, the VA aid really isn't enough with the rising cost of living. And oftentimes, this cost of living is exceeding the benefits of the VA and turning a lot of the veterans to the streets. And also, the life in the military, again, doesn't really prepare them for the life after the military, such as like renting apartments and like their overall life after service for the nation. They don't really build up a great credit score and they suffer a lot of issues in life after the military. So, how's the veterans housing in Pinellas County? So, Pinellas County is one of the highest veteran populations in Florida, exceeding 70,000, and they make up almost 10% of the total adult population in Pinellas County, meaning the issue affects thousands of them locally. So most local veterans in Pinellas County are aged 55 and up, and many are living on a fixed income. And this fixed income is rarely enough to help them live and survive and meet the living, like the cost of living. And additionally, veterans coming home suffer to get employment and thus fall under the cost of living shown in the chart below. And it shows like the cost of living in Pinellas County for just a single adult that comes home from war. Living wage you need with zero children, $23.82 an hour. And most soldiers, they're coming home to a family, so maybe we could say like two adults and one child, and maybe the soldier's not working because he's struggling to find employment, and they have one child. So that one parent needs to be bringing in $38 an hour, and that's really hard to do. So that leads to a lot of the veterans falling below the cost of living and really struggling to make ends meet. So, which veterans are most at risk? So, some of the veterans at risk are the ones that suffer from mental health issues, then they leave them untreated, and this leads to a loss of housing because they're struggling to get employment or stay employed. They're not stable and they don't have therapy, and it's hard to manage their day to day living. And additionally, veterans who are unemployed or underemployed are also at risk because even with the VA, if there's no job, there's no consistent payments, and they're struggling to make rent payments in their apartment or their house, and they're not able to really survive because the rent payments are so high. And also, veterans who are single and don't have support from a family are also at a very high risk because they lack the financial, like, or emotional safety that they need from these family members in case an emergency hit or anything else. And they really need like family support, but they don't have it. And that's another group that's suffering as well. Additionally, in the graph, we can see that of those soldiers that are deployed, 20% of them experience PTSD, 15% of them experience depression, 23% of them suffer from a traumatic brain injury, and over 40% of them have alcohol dependence. And this is really bad for them, especially if they're trying to get housing because they're unable to get this housing because they're suffering from all these things and it's really affecting them badly. So, additionally, what is really being done to help here? So, in Pinellas County, we have a group called Pinellas Hope, and they offer shelter as well as transportation plans to those in needs, and this includes veterans. They also help a lot of veterans. And another group that also does a lot for veterans is St. Vincent de Paul Cares, and they offer many programs not only for civilians but also for veterans in hopes of combating the rise of homelessness. One of these programs that they offer is their rapid rebound rehousing program. And this aims to get people back in homes and off the streets as quickly as possible. And additionally, in Clearwater, the Veterans Resource Center offers one on one support for veterans in need. And this is really good because it aids the suffering that they have and helps them plan out a better future after their deployment. Now, what are some issues with the local housing solutions that are available in Pinellas County? So, a lot of the times, the development of affordable housing gets blocked by zoning laws, and this restricts and hinders the amount of help that's available to people in need, and this includes veterans. And another major issue that some landlords believe this myth that vets aren't able to keep up with their payments and they're not reliable and they have bad behavior. But really, they're just believing myths that were made to go against the vets and make them into some criminal when they're really our nation's hero. And additionally, vets are forced to wait for vouchers or be waitlisted for housing for up to 24 months. And this causes many of them to end up on the streets during this time and then lose these vouchers because they're on the streets for so long. And also, there's not enough funding, truly, not only in Pinellas County, but across the United States and the world as a whole, towards mental health programs that these veterans desperately need, especially ones suffering from PTSD from their deployment overseas. Now, here in Pinellas County, it's really isn't all doom and gloom. There are really some great things being done to help homeless veterans get off the street. For example, the Valor Preserve in Seminole, Florida, has 64 units that they dedicate for veterans as well as those with disabilities. And this is really great because it's bringing a lot of homeless veterans off the street. And additionally, in 2022, there were around 1,100 affordable homes built or approved for construction in Pinellas County. And that is great numbers. That is growing numbers and very beneficial to those in need, especially our homeless veterans. And there's also some great agencies that focus on aiding veterans, such as HUD-VASH, which stands for Housing and Urban Development, and VA supportive housing. And this also, they've increased voucher availability to vets. And this really helps them with the housing crisis that they're suffering from and really helps them get off the streets and it gives them a place to live truly. So here's a little bit more about my partner, the Veterans Youth Alliance Corporation. So they're a nonprofit that was founded by a drive and determination to bring light on the issues that veterans face in their day-to-day lives, even though they're our nation's heroes. They don't only focus on the issue of housing for veterans, but they also strive to share their stories and messages and to share facts about veterans that people may not even know existed. And they also aim to help veterans not only financially, but also emotionally, dealing with the trauma that they face at war and on their way home, having to live with this trauma and just carry it on. They help them really adapt and learn, and also help them recover from these issues and their PTSD that they suffer from. So, the Veterans Youth Alliance Corp is a really great organization founded by two really great individuals. They're local high school students that are very smart and very determined to do the better thing and make our world a better place. These kids are very smart and very determined. They will work very hard to do the right thing and teach more about veterans and shed light on the issues that they suffer from in their day to day lives. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that this video brought you something to learn and something to note on. Have a great rest of your day.